The subject, check. The subject for this evening, law of karma. I'm sure most of you, if not all, are familiar with this word karma. It's nothing, if you translate it into English, it means action. Karma is action. But the law of karma is much more than just action. That's what we are going to try and study today. First of all, let's all understand that the entire world, the whole world, is an expression of laws. You know, you have physical laws, you have chemical laws, you have psychological laws, mathematical laws. Everything functions in this world, this whole world, on laws. That's what science is engaged in, to discover these laws. And time and again, they present us with newly discovered laws to help us understand how things function in the world. So we need to respect these laws. For example, you're all sitting here. You know why? There's a law functioning. Anybody? Why are we all sitting? Or how come we are all sitting? Does anybody know what law it is that makes us sit? Gravity. Not bad. I mean, a few of us understand. I'm not testing you. I'm only saying you already know it. But for the law of gravity, all of us will be floating in this room. And we understand the law of gravity. We take it for granted. But we are careful. Suppose you are close to, let's say, a parapet wall on a height. You'd be careful. Why would you be careful? Because you know there's a law of gravity functioning. I better be careful. I could fall and break my neck or do something very serious to myself. So we may not be aware, but we are all respecting these laws, and that helps us live a comfortable life without paradoxes, without accidents. Now, when it comes to philosophical laws, how many of us know them? There are laws, apart from scientific laws, there are laws pertaining to the human being, you and me. And if we don't know these laws, they're going to affect our lives. Let's put it simply. If people have problems, I'm not saying you have problems, but if and wherever people have problems, it is because we have not understood some law and we're not respecting it, we're not following it. Just as if you don't respect the law of gravitation, you're going to hurt yourself. Similarly, if you don't understand these philosophical laws pertaining to the human being, you're going to hurt yourself mentally. And that's where all the problems come, whether it's stress or strain or worry, anxiety, anger, fear, jealousy, envy, all these negative emotions. People have them, and you suffer. Why do we encourage these kind of emotions? Because we don't know there are laws that function, and we ought to understand how they function so that we don't hurt ourselves and others in life. One such law is the law of karma, one of the many laws. And what we're going to examine is how it works. Now, a lot of people, especially in our country, we have this sort of belief. Everything is predetermined. Bhagwan, you know, fate, it's fate. That's why you'll find a lot of people, before they embark on even our sports activities, we go to temples because we want to please the lords, we want to please the gods. Oh God, we're pleasing you, we've come for your blessing, now bless us. I'm not saying you should not. But we may not understand. There are certain laws that function, which we need to understand and implement. So, to say God is responsible for everything, let's take a minute to think. People say God created this world. If that be true, do you think he's a good architect? Because it should be a perfect world. If God has created, it should be perfect. But there's so many imperfections. You see, there is injustice. There's so much wrong happening. How can we say then? It would be highly unscientific to put the blame on God. I don't know how many of you are with me, but let me clarify with an example. Maybe then we can go along together. Then what is the role of God? Who is God? What is God? We all have our own beliefs. Incidentally, I don't know if that book is available. It's called The Theses on God. It's written by my father and guru, Swami Parthasarathi. I'm not trying to put the book on to you, but if anyone is a thinker here, if you want to understand this concept, God is just a word. It's just a word that has been passed down for generations, and we've accepted it because too many people talk about it. Majority talks about God. Of course, there are the non-believers who say there's no such thing. For now, let's leave them apart. But this book, why I'm talking about it is, it gives you reason, logic for us to project what this concept might be. And this example that I'm going to share with you should give you a fair idea. Okay? So what is the role of God? You can compare this concept of God or the God principle or life principle to petrol in a vehicle. You're all with me? No vehicle can move without fuel in the world. And I don't say, what about EVs? Be reasonable. I'm talking about fuel-driven cars, okay? All fuel-driven cars will move only with petrol, right? But no car can move, as I said, without petrol. But if a car goes safe home or meets with an accident, you won't be going to the fuel, the pump, the bunk, and say, hey, what kind of petrol did you give me? Accident petrol? I met with an accident. What has petrol got to do with the accident? Or you go home safe, you open the petrol tank and say, thank you, petrol. No, you don't do that. But what we all must understand is without petrol, there would not have been an accident, there would not have been a safe arrival at home. You see the role of petrol? Now I'll put it up on the screen for you, so when you see it visually, you will understand it better. Petrol is the prime mover in vehicles, but does not move itself. Similarly, the self in you, or the God principle, whatever you want to call, or some people say, I'm not comfortable with the word God. Say truth. There's a reality, something that we don't know. So when we say that, there are laws and laws functioning in the world, as I mentioned. Every morning the sun rises and sets in the evening. Who's controlling it? Don't know. You put a seed into earth, it sprouts into a plant, becomes a tree, yields fruits. Who's doing it? Don't know. And then you say, these mangoes are from my tree. But what is yours about it? You've done nothing. It grew. But who enabled that? Don't know. As we sit here, you're all seeing. It's an activity going on. I don't know if there are any doctors here, but you don't have to be a doctor. There are several, we are told, you can check it in the internet, several million operations that take place in the retina of your eye to register sight. So can you imagine how many activities are going on in the retina of your eye? Who's doing it? Don't know. Your digestive system is working right now. Your circulatory system is working. Your respiratory system is working. Who is doing all that? Don't know. And to give an answer, we say, God. So God is just is a word that represents something that we don't know, which commands each one of us and the whole universe. And all the laws are controlled, as it were, by some power we don't know. So we're just giving the name God or self. Self is a neutral word. So self is the activating principle in beings but does not act. Another simple example, we could say, all this is necessary because we can't go further without this understanding. We need a base to go further. You see light coming out of the bulb right now. When you purchase a bulb, it has everything it takes to give light, but there is no light. It has the outer casement, the inner filament, but no light. Until it comes in contact with one unifying entity called electricity. There's no German electricity, Japanese electricity, Indian electricity, African electricity, no. Electricity is one unifying entity which is the common denominator for all equipments, not only light. This sound comes to you in another form where electricity is functioning. The gadgets may be different types. The expressions could be many, but electricity is one. At the same time, electricity is not light. Electricity does not get hot in a heater or cool in a cooler. It does not act, but enables the equipments to function. That's exactly what the first point is. The self in you, the God principle in all of us, whether it's a human being or an animal or even a plant, there's life. What enables any creature, any living being to have life? It is that living principle referred to as God or the self. So that is the first point. And then the second one, the performance levels differ, but the petrol is the same. In a small car, the performance is small. In a medium car, the performance is medium. In a powerful 500 Mercedes, it's huge, the power. Or in the F1, racing cars. I can see some young people here. You'll understand what I mean. The older people don't like it. But the young ones are good with speed, From where the performance is powerful, but the fuel is the same. Petrol is the same. Similarly, the caliber of personalities in human beings differ. The caliber differs. You can have, for example, an aboriginal, a tribal, somewhere in an unknown region, not in touch with civilization at all. And then you have all you intelligent people living in this world. And then you could have outstanding human beings, whether it's in spirituality or in the science field or in the business field. You could have a Shakespeare or a Milton, you have Newton, you have galaxy of extraordinary thinkers and achievers right on top. So you have such a range, you could say, of human beings, but the God principle is the same. You could have a sinner, a criminal who's a human being. You have a saint who's also a human being. But the self is the same in both. There's no difference. Point number 2. Point number 3, as I already mentioned, accident or safe arrival, petrol is not responsible. Atrocious or divine actions, the self is not responsible for the quality of actions. So we come back to the point of action. We are all acting. In fact, action is the insignia of life. from the moment you are born till the last breath of life in you, you and all of us will be constantly performing actions. We have no choice. Even the laziest person performs laziest actions. But you will have to act. As long as there's life in you, you will act. That's why we say action is the insignia of life. Now, friends, in the fact that you act and you will act, you have no choice. But we as human beings have a choice in how we act. When I say that, look at nature. There are so many living beings in this world. You understand a carnivore? A carnivore is ferocious. It must live on flesh, meat. That is its life. You're not saying it's wrong. That is the life of a carnivore. It has no choice. No carnivore will say, every day non-vegetarian, today we'll have vegetarian. Can't say. Carnivore must eat flesh, otherwise it will die. It can't switch to vegetation. Not possible. Similarly, a herbivore, a cow, must eat vegetation. It must have fodder. It must have grass to eat. It has no choice. If a cow or a herbivore does not have vegetation, it will die, but it can't switch to meat eating. It can't attack an animal, kill it and eat it. Why? I'm hungry. No. It will die. So all we're saying, what we're trying to establish here is all other living creatures are acting, but their actions are set for life. A fish will swim in the water. A fish won't say, hey, I'm getting bored swimming in the water. Why not I fly today? Are you listening to me? Because you're very seriously listening. You're supposed. A fish won't think, why not today is boring, let's fly. No. It will just live and die in water. That's the life of a fish. Similarly, a bird is meant for the skies. It won't decide, let's go swimming today. No. It's all set. Their actions are all set for their entire life. No choices. You can't have a good fish and a bad fish, a good bird and a bad bird. No. They're all birds. That's it. All creatures, for that matter. You don't have a good tiger and a bad one. Tigers are tigers. That's it. Snake, good snake, bad snake. They're there. They're set. All their actions are set. Come to the human being. You have a range. You have good, better, best. I mean, I don't want to put it the other way. Because you have to sit here, till I finish. Humans, we have enormous choice. It's a birthday gift. Each one can make something out of his or her life because we have a choice. You can be placed in the best of circumstances and be miserable, unhappy. You can be placed in the worst of circumstances and be cheerful and joyful and happy. Choice is yours. Of course, we need to know how to do it. That is why humans need to go to schools and colleges and need education. No animal needs it. Because it's all set from birth. Animals know exactly what they have to do. Even a chick comes out of an egg, it knows exactly what it must do. But leave a human baby, it's the dumbest creature on earth, the human baby. Wah, 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 it'll go on crying. And bring the roof down till you pick it up and attend to it. Whoever new parents, God be with you. Other parents know exactly what they went through. In India, we still have the luxury of fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers and servants. But if you're living abroad, you have to manage your own children, your home, your garden, everything you have to do yourself. You're glorified workers. But the label of being abroad, That's so nice. So we want to go there. I'm not saying you shouldn't. We need, because we are already overcrowded in India, so please go. Please go. But here we still can manage because there's so much of support, family support and all the support that you can get here. But it's not easy. Because a human baby is completely dependent in the beginning. But once a child grows up, its capacity becomes enormous if the child, if the person, if the human decides to do it. That's where the choice comes. So, what we need to understand in this introduction is everything in life is based on cause and effect. Every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. When I say that, how do you then answer the question, why is one child born in poverty, baby? Why is another baby born in opulence? Who decides? Don't say God. No, there are people, this is all Bhagwan. I mean, it's positing something without any reasonable explanation. But why? That's why people say, you didn't go to mandir, you should have gone. Then the baby would have been born in opulence. That's what we believe. So there are two kinds of people. One are the believers, they say all depends, everything in life depends on the will of God. And then there are others who say, which God? Where? Which God are you talking about? So the non-believers are saying that it's all human effort. It's our effort. That's it. Now what Vedanta does, as you all know, what I'm talking to you is not my opinion. I'm only trying to share with you what is given out in our scriptures. The philosophy is called Vedanta. That's the source of what I'm talking to you. And Vedanta is found in all scriptures of the world. It's not Hindu faith or religion. Vedanta is a science of life and living. Just as you respect the gravitational force because it has been discovered and established and verifiable. That's why we respect a science. Similarly, in our country, Bharat, we're talking thousands of years ago. Thinkers sat down, perhaps in the Himalayas somewhere, thinking about these various factors of human life, and they also discovered these laws, verified them in their lives, and put it in a subject called Vedanta. So Vedanta is only giving us scientific laws pertaining to the human being which are verifiable to your satisfaction. So one such law is the law of karma. So one set of people say it's all God's will. Another set of people say it's human effort. Now Vedanta resolves this difference. What it says is, look, there is human effort, no doubt. But what enables the human to act is the God principle or the self principle. How do you understand that? Go back to the example of petrol. Go back to the example of electricity. Electricity enables all equipments to function, but electricity is not responsible for the quality of performance. Similarly, there is a God principle in us which enables us to have this life. When I say that, if I cut this finger, it will lie here like any piece of wood or stone. But there is life in this body. What enables my body to act? Something beyond the body, which I don't know. I have feelings, you have feelings. What enables us to feel? Good or bad? We're not talking about the quality, but something is enabling us to feel. What is it? It is that God principle in us. You're thinking or not thinking. Something is enabling us to think. What is it that enables us to think? So what these masters, to put it very briefly, what you see now is my outer personality. You're not really concerned. Just the body. What I see now is your bodies. Right? I'm not really concerned about your physical bodies. But I'm definitely concerned. Are you here? Your bodies are here. That usually happens when there's a nice, comforting air condition. Especially if you choose a corner back seat. No, don't worry, I'm not pointing out to anybody. This is such a comfortable place to forget everything, and just relax. Usually, if you don't get sleep anywhere, come to a lecture, you'll fall asleep. I don't know what happens. Systems just switch off, Anywhere else, you're wide awake. Come to a lecture, it goes, And the worst part is you're sitting in the middle and snoring. You know how we feel, no? You see, all this you may be thinking, she's got enormous capacity to understand. No, just come and stand here, then you know exactly what I'm going through. That's why I keep moving from here to there. Is anybody listening? Anybody listening? So what brings life into this body? That's what we're concerned about. Something beyond. Similarly, they say, the body is just your outer personality. The mind and intellect. Sanskrit words are manas and buddhi. Mind is what enables you to feel impulses, wishes, wants, desires, demands, your likes, your dislikes. I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this. There is something in you which feels emotions, love, hatred, good and bad emotions. That is referred to as manas, manas or mind. Superior to the manas is buddhi, or the capacity to think, the intellect, right? To understand, to know, to judge, to decide. That is the intellect. Together, mind and intellect is your inner personality. I'm still describing the human being and the role of God or the self or the truth, the reality. So you have an outer personality, you have an inner personality, but the question is, what is your real personality? That's what we need to understand. That real personality is the subject of all religions. All masters have tried to tell us, look, you're not what you believe yourself to be today. You're far, far greater than that. Not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, but your real self. And until you discover your real self, you will never rest content. You will never be happy with anything. So what we're trying to do here is to resolve the difference. Some people say it's all God. Some people say it's human effort. Where do we stand? So the God principle only enables you to function. But the way you function, you're responsible. And that's where humans have a choice. So it doesn't depend, nobody's asking you what is the background. Where do you come from? Some people will say, you don't know, I've gone through so much suffering. I've got such a terrible challenge in my life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your problems are. You can still do the right thing if you choose. And you may say, how is it possible? If you choose not to do the right thing in life, and it's not for me to tell you what is right, you decide. Find out what is the right thing to do and do it. Because if you don't, it's going to come right back to you. So that's why we as human beings are responsible for our own life, to exert independent effort, irrespective of your background. Like we said, you could be placed in the most challenging situations. You could have the biggest problems, perhaps. Or everything could be easy. Yet each one has to exercise right effort, and if you don't, it's going to come back to you. So take responsibility of your own life. Now, law of karma, in fact, is one part of the law. The main law is called the law of causation. Like I said, every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. Now, when we talk about this law of causation, there are two laws governing law of causation. One is the law of destiny. Destiny, fate. Let me talk about fate, destiny. And the law of karma. So the law of causation has two aspects. Are you with me? Law of causation. And law of causation is very simple. What is law of causation? From what I've said, do you remember what did I say? What is the law of causation? Cause and effect, period. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. That's it. Now, this law of causation has two laws governing it. Destiny and karma. So what is destiny? Destiny deals with the past and present. Today you are in a position, wherever, good or bad. This is your destiny right now, your fate. Okay? But how did you land up in this situation? Because of all that you have done this day backward. How far back? We don't know. Why do we say that we don't know? Because, let's be reasonable. When a person dies, it may be that the person had so many wishes, so many desires, so many plans, all gone. Where did it go? Don't know. Because there could be so many unfulfilled desires. Person passed. So we just say, Gaya. Gaya means what? Be reasonable. How can it just vanish into thin air? But we don't know what happens. And when a baby is born, like I said, there are distinct conditions. External and internal. Baby could be healthy, baby could be unhealthy. Baby, like I said, is born in a good place, baby is born in a bad place. Who decides? So this is an effect. There must be a cause. So destiny, where you are at present, is a result, is an effect. What is the cause? One's own actions, feelings, thoughts, all that put together this day backward. Okay, I'll give you one more example. Because philosophy doesn't work sometimes. You got a bank balance? Now everybody's understanding. You got a bank balance, right? You may be in a good place, good bank balance. How come? This is your present destiny, good bank balance. How did you get a good bank balance? Because of all that you have done this day backward. If you've done credit, 1 or 2 debits, but more credits, you got a good bank balance. Suppose you say, my bank balance is very low. You go to the bank manager and say, hey, why is my bank balance so low? He says, excuse me, sir, 1 minute. He'll just print out, what do you call it? Bank statement. Bank statement. Why is my bank balance so low? Debit, 1 credit. Debit, 1 credit. What do you expect? Your bank balance will be low. Similarly, friends, if you are in a good place, there has been credit, good actions, good. It's not only actions. You may say, okay, I'll sign a check and give it for charity. It may be one good action. What about your thoughts? Thoughts could be negative. Now, I love everybody except who? Mother-in-law. She's not a mother. Don't use that word mother. She's a monster. Monster-in-law. A mother-in-law also says the same thing. I want my fate, my fate. That's why I've come. The lady is sitting here because she wants to know what is her destiny. You know? What is it? I got a dragon-in-law, not daughter-in-law. And these days, you know, these girls, oh my God, modern girls. What the lady doesn't understand is her mother-in-law said the same thing about her. So, it's not just writing checks and doing social service. What are your thoughts? Somebody's keeping account. I don't know who. There's a perfect accounting system. Every thought of yours. You think ill of another person, it's going to come. Debit. You have bad feelings about somebody, debit. It will be debited. So we don't realize, we may talk nice, IEA, why did you call this person here? You know? Outside is IEA, inside is all, you know. Debit. It's debited. Now what can I do? Don't ask me, I have no idea. But there is a perfect accounting system for sure. That's what is happening. So your present destiny is a result of all that you've done this day backward. Now you're clear about that? However, you have a future. Your future destiny is in your hands. That's what we need to understand. See, the past is history. The future is a mystery. We don't know. No, there are people, I can't understand this. I don't know if you've seen it. On a pavement, there'll be a man sitting, an illiterate fellow. I mean, at least he looks illiterate. He'll have a little cage with a parrot. Some people are nodding, that means they've gone. No, there's a parrot sitting and some cards. Now, I have not gone, I've just observed. You're saying, how do you know? Just observation. And a suited, booted person in a limousine, in a car, will come, drive up, get off the car, sit, you know, he can hardly sit. It's like, you've seen Ayyappa Swami? It's like sitting like that. Can't sit cross-legged. But you have to sit on the floor because that fellow's on the floor. And he'll somehow manage and sit very uncomfortably. For what he has gone there? You know? You've tried it. See, what is interesting, he puts some money there. The man opens the cage, the parrot comes out, turns some card, and then this man goes eloquent, starts reading all sorts of, I don't know what the card is, but so much he's talking on that one card about the man's future. And the man is taking notes. I don't understand this. What I don't understand is you don't trust a human brain, you're trusting a bird brain? Kamal. That's the human being. You can be so dumb, you can be so stupid as to trust. And there are people for predictions. I'm not joking. Internationally, it's not only here. The prediction of sports. You know who they consult? Does anybody remember? World Cup they've predicted. See that? Octopus, cats. I mean, it's amazing. Superstition is amazing. It only shows we are not thinking. A human being is set apart from the rest of creation because a human being alone can think. And what is amazing is a human being hardly thinks. In fact, Swamiji, my father, had to write that book, The Fall of the Human Intellect. You got it? Oh, good, not bad. Why am I standing here? Fall of the Human. But don't read the title, you have to read the book. Because it's going to explain to you, if there be problems in the world, and I'm not asking you what the problem is, I'm making a sweeping statement, and this is a fact. If there be problems in the world, individual problems or collective problems. When I say collective, it could be family problems, it could be social problems, it could be communal problems, national problems, international problems. They're all problems, you know, because we are human beings, right? If there be one reason, and there is only one reason, for all problems in the world, it is the fall of the human intellect, period. So if you're not using our intellect, what are we doing? We're using emotions. All the time. You'll see it in a family. You'll see it in society. Communal problems. Nothing but emotions. Let loose without any control. That creates problems. So friends, we have the choice as humans to use this wondrous equipment called the intellect. But, let me caution you, it is a technique. It is an art. You have to learn it, practice, and make perfect. Just as when you want to keep your body fit, you go to a gymnasium and work out. See, there are people who say, how do you keep fit? I go for walks. But the person is not fit because when they go for walks, they talk. And after talking, the worst part is they go and make up in, what is it? Let's have masala dosa, or poha, or I don't know what. So the walking also is a waste because most of the time you're talking. And then after the walk, according to your walk, therefore I must go and eat. So it's a very simple calculation. How do you keep fit? Make sure intake and output are balanced. As simple as that. But we don't use our intellect. You go on input, 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 no output. What do you expect? How can you be fit? Nobody is denied physical fitness. But you have to work out. There's no two ways about it. Similarly, no one is denied mental fitness, but you have to work out. And the way to work out is use your intellect. That's all it is. So if you can only pick up a few ideas and exercise them in the sense, apply it in your own life, you would be able to manage anything in life. So friends, as far as destiny goes, it relates to the past. Now you can't change your present destiny because it's fait accompli. You've already performed the actions. But you've got to understand that I have the capacity to control the future. So, as far as destiny is concerned, the law of destiny, though it relates to the past, what we must realize is, I must take responsibility of my life. You have created your own life, no other person. No extraneous factors. Don't look up to the heavens. Don't go and ask petrol, why was there an accident? Or don't thank petrol. Thank you, petrol, for taking me home safe. It'll be thank you, God. God is yawning. He doesn't know what you're talking. And beauty of human beings, brains, We go to a temple, a church, a mosque, or Gurdwara, wherever we go for a place of worship. What are we doing? We take coconuts. We take flowers. Whose are they? You don't say from my garden. It's like, I come to your home. I'm not coming, don't worry. But if I come to your home, you say, oh, aye, how are you? Well, nice lecture we heard and all that. You'll be very happy if I think you'll be happy if I come home. And I come home and say, can you lend me 1,000 rupees? Ha, zarur, 1,000 rupees. You look at your wife and husband will look at each other, and of course, she's asking, we must give. And then you give the money. And may I have an envelope, please? I said, zarur. You go searching because you don't have an envelope, and then somehow you find an envelope, and you give the envelope and money, and I put the money in the envelope, give it to you and say, happy birthday. Are you understanding what I'm doing? It's your money, and I'm asking you to give it and giving back to you. That is how we pray. You're taking God's things to God and saying, I will break 100 coconuts. Whose coconuts? I will bring all the best of flowers to you, God. Whose flowers? His flowers. So it's not what you do that matters, but it's how you do it, why you do it. It's like your own child borrows money from you and buys you a present. You know, it's a very silly thing to do, but you don't say, hey, my money you're giving me. No parent will say that. You understand Bacche hain, very sweet. It's not what the child does, but how it does it. Similarly, that power looks at our activities in the same way. What all we are doing belongs to him, belongs to that power, whatever that power is. But it's the bhavana, it's the attitude. That's all it is. So we've got to take responsibility of our own lives. That's very important. Because no one else is governing our lives except ourselves. You have the choice to make or mar your life. You are the architect of your fortune. You are the architect of your misfortune. Don't blame the stars. Don't blame anybody except yourself. Look in the mirror. This person is responsible for my life. So friends, while the law of destiny talks about the past, the main theme is the law of karma. That gives us hope for the future. If I were to define anybody's future, I'll put it on the screen for you. What is future? How do you define future? Future is nothing but a continuation of the past modified in the present. Anybody's future is you can't forget the past. Past is there. Suppose you are in deep debt. Today you are in deep debt because it's only debit, 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 no credits. So you've borrowed money left, right, and center. So you're in deep debts. What is your future? Depends on what you do. Suppose you realize, I don't want to be in debts. So first thing is stop borrowing. Number one. Number two is you start earning. So when you start earning, slowly the debts will be cleared. How long will it take? I have been trying to clear my debts for the past 6 months. Nothing is happening because you're so deep in debts. Continue to do the right thing. A time will come when you're out of it. Don't fix a date. Don't fix a time because it all depends how deep your debts are and how much you're earning. That balance. Similarly, if you say, I'm in a lot of problem, lot of difficulty, it's like being in debts. So start doing things right, whatever that is. And a time will come when you can eradicate the past. But do not fix a date. I've been trying to be good for the past 6 months. Nothing is happening because you're so deep into the negative side. It takes time. But that doesn't mean we give up right action. So, anybody's future is a continuation of the past, modified in the present, plus or minus. So you could go worse or better, depending on what effort you put in the present. Now, friends, karma states, the law of karma states, that you are a product or a victim of the past. But at the same time, you're a producer, you're a master of the future. So don't let go. We all are going through this opportunity called life. Everyone is given, human life particularly, like no other creature can do this. Only a human being can modify life. And how do you modify it? By the way you act, not only actions, by the way you feel, what is going on internally, by the way you think. Nobody else will know except you. You can fool the whole world, but you cannot keep it from that higher power. Because like I said, the accounting system is perfect. So friends, we have two aspects in us. The past, like we are a cumulative effect of the past. But we have a human being alone has this unique capacity, it's called self-effort. You will all make a note of that word. The Sanskrit word is purushartha. You don't have to worry about these words, but like I said, it's coming from Vedanta, what I'm talking to you. Your destiny is your prarabdha. Prarabdha is your present destiny. But every human being has equal opportunity when it comes to purushartha. Purushartha is the capacity to exercise self-effort, irrespective of your past. Otherwise, if a person is negative, he'll be negative all his life. Like, okay, let's say, an alcoholic. Today, a person has become an alcoholic because he has conducted himself in such a way that he's a victim. But can he change? Depends on his effort. If he is willing to put in effort, he can get out of alcoholism. So for us, it may not be a problem. There's no effort because it's not a weakness. But for that person, it's a struggle. It's a tremendous struggle. It could be being an alcoholic, it could be smoking, it could be gambling, it could be anything. Not that others are free. These are extraordinary situations. But people have problems with anger management, or hatred, or envy. You've got to put in effort. So nobody is perfect. Each one has strengths and weaknesses. So we must be honest to ourselves. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. There's no shying away from it. But if you wish to become a better human, you can. By exercising purushartha, self-effort. So how it works is, see, destiny is like the flow of water in a river. Can you imagine water flowing in a river? Let's say it travels at 2 kilometers an hour. That's the flow of water. You're in a boat, a speed boat, which travels at 16 kilometers an hour. That's the speed of the boat. Now, if you are traveling upstream, you understand? Against the flow, then what will happen? What will be the speed? 16 minus the mathematics. Plato, the great philosopher, you heard of Plato, right? Famous philosopher. He had a placard on his outside his room. If you don't know geometry, don't enter. Because philosophy is actually mathematical. Again, I'm not testing you, but if you understand this, you understand how it works in life. It's as simple as that. So coming back, the speed of the boat is 16 kilometers per hour. The speed, the flow of water is 2. Okay? So if you're going upstream, what will happen? It'll be less. So 16 minus 2, it'll be 14. If it is going downstream, becomes 18. That is all that matters in your life. Suppose you say this is difficult. You're going upstream. Therefore, you'll have to put in more effort. Another person is going downstream. Because he's already put in that effort, it becomes much easier. That's the only difference in exercising effort. It's a little more or little less. But no one is denied results if you put in the right effort. So you can have a better future. Everyone can have a better future. If we exert right effort, you can become the master of your future destiny. And that's what the law of karma tells us. So I've got one more point to share with you. Please remember one thing. In life, you get what you deserve, not what you desire. You get what you deserve, not what you desire. And the law of karma explains that. In fact, we use a law of parallelograms, which comes in physics. And do we have the diagram? Okay. I'll explain to you, not now, I'll explain to you with the help of a diagram. Why do you land up in a particular place that you don't want to? You didn't ask for this, good or bad. How come? It's called the resultant. That's what physics tells us. I'll give you an example. Try and help me with the answer. Okay? I have a ball in my hand. There's no ball. Imagine, I have a ball. You with me? Okay. There are two forces acting on the ball. One is going vertical, the other is going horizontal. Two equal forces. You get the picture? There's a ball in my hand. There are two forces. One is going vertical, the other is going horizontal. Which direction you think the ball will travel? I'll repeat. Please pay attention. That's why you have to pay attention. You need mathematics. Thinking is just thinking. Common sense. A ball in my hand, there are two equal forces. One pulling it upward, one pulling it sideways. Which direction you think the ball will go? See, you know it. Diagonal. This is physics. It's not philosophy, physics. Common sense. You understand? What is interesting to note is there is no force diagonal. Yet it travels in that direction. That is called the resultant. So we have desires, many, many desires. One is taking us vertical, another is going likes, dislikes. Remember I talked about the mind. Like, I like this, I want this, I don't want this. I think good, I think bad. I feel good, I feel bad. I act right, I act wrong. All sorts of things are happening in our personality. They're forces. You understand? So where you will go, where you will land up, is called the resultant of all the forces put together. That's why we say you get what you deserve, not what you desire. I'll put it on the screen so you get it visually. It becomes very simple to understand. This is the parallelogram law of forces. So that zero, you have two forces, OA and OB. And R, as you yourself said, is the resultant of two forces only. But in life, there you see F1, F2 up to F6. These are all forces. All your desires, all your feelings, all your actions, they're going in different directions. So there is a resultant force called R1. And that is each one's life. So the total effect, or the compound, not any one of your desires or wishes or wants, decides the course of your life. That's why we wonder, oh God, why is this happening to me? It's happening to you because you decided. It's your resultant force. So the law of karma is a very important aspect of our lives. So what must we do? Watch, scrutinize your thoughts, your desires, your actions. Watch out, because you're paying for it. Avoid negative thoughts, indiscriminate desires, and heedless actions. I don't care, I'll do this. It'll come back. Or rather, at least today, when we walk out of this door, think, if something good has happened, well, you deserve it. If something bad has happened, you very well deserve it. Please understand that. Don't say, no, I don't deserve. It's your own karma. It's your own action. So be careful. If you're careful, you would lead a meaningful, purposeful, satisfying life. How do we do it? Gain knowledge. Vedanta will help you. You can, with this knowledge, you steer your life perfectly. Like a steering wheel is important to drive a car on the road. If you don't hold the steering wheel, the car can go and meet with an accident. So your life is in control when you use your intellect and knowledge. Strengthen your intellect with these values, because it's not just one talk and I'm gone. But you've got to continue. It's not, it's not going to the gymnasium one day. You've got to go there every day and work out. So you've got to develop your intellect, and that will help you govern your life perfectly. And ultimately, the purpose of human life is to regain the truth, the reality, the self, which is your real personality. Then you will govern the world like these masters, a Christ or a Krishna, Prophet Muhammad or Guru Nanak or Lord Buddha. These were outstanding people. because they found the truth within themselves. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.